Call the July 21st, 2020 Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. Roll call from my right, please.
Marla Canfield.
Bill Schnauber.
Gary Israel.
Eric Peterson.
Brian Davidson.
Okay. Item number 3, approval of the minutes of the June 16th, 2020 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I, Eric Peterson, make a motion that we approve the Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeal minutes from June 16th, 2020.
I have a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I, Gary Israel, second the motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you. Item number 4, committee and staff report. Les, anything?
We've got nothing to add tonight.
Okay. Comments from the board? Questions?
None.
Okay. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to recess the Planning Commission.
Mr. Chairman, I, Gary Israel, make a motion to recess the Planning Commission and convene the Board of Zoning Appeals.
I, Brian Davidson, will second.
Have a motion and a second to recess the Planning Commission, convene the Board of Zoning Appeals. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you. Item number 5 then is case number BZAV 2020-02. Public hearing on an application for a variance to construct a storage structure on the property generally located at 1401 Juniper Crest Court, Andover, Kansas. Notation, the subject lot is 22,400 square feet, which provides a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowable lot coverage limit of 30%. Additionally, the large lot size allows for adequate separation from existing and proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets. Staff knows of no reason not to grant the requested variance pending the outcome of the public hearing. Okay. We, at this time, would like to welcome everyone interested in this hearing and lay out a few ground rules. It is important that you present any facts or views that you have as evidence at this hearing so that the findings can be made for the decision of this board. In order to grant a variance, 5 specific written findings of fact must all be met according to the state statutes and the city zoning regulations. This board is authorized by state statutes to make a decision appealable only to district court and not to the governing body. After our zoning administrator provides us with some information, I will then call upon the applicant, and we will hear from other interested parties. Once all have been heard, the applicant will have an opportunity for final comments. The board will close the hearing to further public comments and will then consider their decision, during which time they may direct questions to the applicant, the public, or staff. You should be aware that the board can require such conditions to be attached to the premises benefited by the variance, as may be necessary to comply with the standards set out in Article 11.106. These are to reduce any potentially injurious effect of such variance upon other property in the neighborhood and to carry out the general purpose and intent of these regulations. Failure to comply with any of the conditions attached to a zoning permit for a variance shall constitute a violation of the regulations. You should also be fully aware that if the applicant chooses to describe various features of the development plans, the city can only enforce those provisions which are covered in zoning and other city codes. Anyone wishing to speak must be recognized by the chairperson, give their name and address, and use the podium to speak clearly so that comments can be recorded for inclusion into our minutes. Do we have any disqualifications at this time?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make it known that I do personally know Mike Harris, but this is the first reading the agenda for this evening. This is the first thing I've heard about it, and I have had no communication with him.
All right. I don't see any issues with that at all then. Okay. Official notice for this hearing was published in the Butler County Times-Gazette on June 27th, 2020. and notices were mailed to the applicant and 8 real property owners of record in the area of notification on June 26, 2020. The record shows that at least 20 days have elapsed between the publication and mailing dates and the hearing date. Unless there is evidence to the contrary from anyone present, I will declare that proper notification has been given. Do we have any ex parte communication?
No.
No.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to call on Les to fill us in on anything, add anything to the request.
I think this request is pretty self-explanatory. It's just a request for a garage larger than the standards allow. You all have heard these many times. This is a large lot. It's nearly a half an acre, so there's plenty of space on the lot for the proposed garage storage building and plenty of room for the required setbacks.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
No.
No.
Okay. At this time, I would call the applicant to make their representation on the request and make any response to the zoning administrator's report. No? They're not here? Okay. At this time, anyone from the public would like to address the board? Okay. Has there been any written communications been received about this?
No, we've not received any.
Okay. Any discussion?
No.
Okay. Hearing no further public comments, I hereby close the public portion of the hearing. There will be no further public comments unless the board wishes to ask questions to clarify information. The board will now deliberate the request to determine whether the evidence presented supports the conclusions of the required findings of fact. The board will now consider the criteria provided for evaluation. All right, findings of fact. This report has been prepared by the zoning administrator to assist the Board of Zoning Appeals to determine their findings from the evidence presented at the hearing, so as to base their decision for a variance on the required 5 findings found in subsection 11-106.82 by the zoning regulations. The board may grant a request upon specific written findings of fact when all 5 conditions, as required by state statutes, are found to exist. The responses provided need to be evaluated with the evidence and reworded as necessary to reflect the Board of Zoning Appeals' considered opinion. Conditions attached to the motion, if any, should be carefully worded to provide instructions to the applicant and facilitate enforcement by the zoning administrator. So does the evidence demonstrate that? 1, the physical surroundings, shape, or topography of the property would result in a practical difficulty as distinguished from a mere inconvenience for the owner, lessee, or occupant. Staff notes, the subject lot is 22,400 square feet, which provides a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowable lot coverage limit of 30%. Additionally, the large lot size allows for adequate separation from existing and proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets. Concur?
Concur.
2, granting the variance will result in material detriment or injury to other property or improvements in the neighborhood. Staff, subject lot is 22,400 square feet, which provides a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowable lot coverage limit of 30%. Additionally, the large lot size allows for adequate separation from existing and proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets.
Concur.
Concur? 3, granting the variance will result in an inadequate supply of light or air to adjacent property, substantially increased traffic congestion, increased fire risk, or substantially diminished property values in the neighborhood. Staff, subject lot is 22,400 square feet, which provides a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowable lot coverage limit of 30%. Additionally, the large lot sizes allows for adequate separation from existing and proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets.
Concur.
Concur.
4, the request for a variance is not based exclusively on a desire of the owner, lessee, occupant, or applicant to make more money out of the property. Again, subject lot is 22,400 square feet, which provides a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowable lot coverage limit of 30%. Additionally, the large lot size allows for adequate separation from existing and proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets. Concur? All right, specific conditions to be met. The requested variance arises from a condition unique to the property in question, which is not ordinarily found in the same zoning district, and which was not created by any action of the property owner or the applicant. Subject lot is 22,400 square feet, providing a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowable lot coverage limit of 30%. Additionally, the large lot size allows for adequate separation from existing proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets. Concur. Strict application of the provisions of these zoning regulations would result in unnecessary hardship for the owner, lessee, or occupant of the land or structures. Staff, subject lot is 22,400 square feet, which provides a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowable lot coverage limit of 30%. Again, additionally, the large lot size allows for adequate separation from existing proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets.
Concur.
3, granting the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. Subject lot is 22,400 square feet, which provides a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowable lot coverage limit of 30%. Additionally, the large lot size allows for adequate separation from existing and proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets. Concur. 4, the requested variance will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare. Subject lot is 22,400 square feet, which provides a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowable lot coverage limit of 30%. Additionally, the large lot size allows for adequate separation from existing and proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets. Concur. 5, requested variance will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of these zoning regulations. Subject lot is 22,400 square feet, which provides a substantial area for structures while remaining below the zoning district's maximum allowed lot coverage limit of 30%. Additionally, the large lot size allows for adequate separation from existing and proposed structures to adjoining properties and public streets. Concur. Okay. At this time, any discussion? Is there a motion to either approve, modify and approve, disapprove, or to table the discussion?
Mr. Chairman, having considered the evidence in the hearing and determined that the findings of fact have been found to exist that support all 5 conditions set out in subsection 11-106B2 of the zoning regulations and KSA 12-759E, I, Brian Davidson, move that the chairperson be authorized to sign a resolution granting the variance for case number BZA V 2020-02 as requested.
We have a motion to approve. Looking for a second.
Mr. Chairman, I, Gary Israel, second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you. Resolution will be prepared and made available to the applicant as soon as reasonably possible, but no later than September 4th, 2020. If anyone is aggrieved by this decision, a further appeal can be made to the district court to determine its reasonableness within 30 days after the resolution is signed and filed with the zoning administrator. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I, Gary Israel, make a motion to adjourn the Board of Zoning Appeals and reconvene the Planning Commission.
I have a motion to adjourn.
I, Eric Peterson, second the motion.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn the Board of Zoning Appeals and reconvene the Planning Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, thank you. Item number 6, case number VA 2020-02. Public hearing and recommendation on a petition for vacation of 10 feet of the rear 20-foot utility easement on the property generally located at 713 North Waterview Place, Andover, Kansas. Note here, AT&T has identified potential conflicts with existing cables in the proposed area to be vacated that have yet to be resolved. Okay, Les, can you fill us in a little bit here?
Sure. As you know, we send out notices of these petitions for vacation to all of the utility providers, and in this case, the only response we've got to the negative was from AT&T that they do have cables in this rear yard. We've tried to get the AT&T representative together with the property owner to determine the exact placement of those cables and how much of a conflict exists and if it can be worked out by simply changing the dimensions of the request to vacate. We haven't been able to do that so far, so we would recommend that you table this matter and give the two parties a little more time to get together and determine if they can accommodate each other.
Okay.
Les, was there a reason given why they want to vacate that?
I believe they want to build a swimming pool.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we table VA-2020-02, a public hearing and recommendation on a petition for vacation of 10 feet of the rear 20-foot utility easement on the property generally located at 713 North Waterview Place, Andover, Kansas.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Brian Davidson will second.
Have a motion and a second to table case number VA 2020-02. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, so be it. All right, item number 7, case number VA 2020-03. Public hearing and recommendation on petition for vacation of the rear 20-foot utility easement on the property generally located at 1408 East Timber Falls Court, Andover, Kansas. Note here, AT&T has identified potential conflicts with existing cables in the proposed area to be vacated and have yet to be resolved. Les.
Again, we sent those notices out and got a conflict with AT&T. Justin and I have been out there and looked at the situation, as well as the folks from AT&T and the petitioner. And yesterday we received a letter from AT&T that they wouldn't be opposed to this property owner building the fence that they want to build across the easement, across the AT&T cable that's in that easement, rather than allowing the vacation of the easement because there is a cable within that area that's been requested to be vacated. So our opinion is that we should not grant this vacation and simply exercise this letter we have from AT&T that says they're not opposed to allowing the property owner to build their fence.
So unless at some point if AT&T needed to come in and do any work on that cable and had to tear down the fence, is the property owner or petitioner aware that they would be responsible for all repairs themselves?
Yes, and I think Justin has been in the middle of the communications between the two parties. They've met and come to this agreement.
Okay.
All right. So staff's recommendation is not to approve this, correct? Correct.
To deny it, but, say, how would we put that? So that we base it all on the letter, the communication between AT&T and the petitioner.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless there's any other questions, then I'm looking for a motion here.
I'll take a shot at it, Mr. Chairman. I, Eric Peterson, make a motion that in the case of VA-2020-03, the petition for vacation of the rear 20-foot utility easement on the property generally located at 1408 East Timber Falls Court, Andover, Kansas, that we deny the petition for vacation, and instead we refer to the letter received on July 20th from Stephanie LeBron with AT&T to the petitioner regarding the easement.
Mr. Chairman, I, Gary Israel, would second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, thank you. All right, item number 8 is a final planned unit development. Review of the Cornerstone 10th edition. Final planned unit development plan generally located north of 21st Street and east of 159th Street, Andover, Kansas. Note, staff and the subdivision committee have reviewed and recommend approval of the final planned unit development plan. Les.
I think Brian is here from MKAC to provide you with yet another phase at Cornerstone. He tells me that there might be as many as 3 remaining, 2 or 3 phases remaining in the single-family residential development. As I said in the memo, the subdivision committee, the staff, the utilities have all reviewed the plat and recommend approval.
Okay. Brian, you're welcome to the podium.
Good evening, Chairman and body. I just am excited to share with you the 10th. Yes, I'm Brian Lindeback, 411 North Webb Road, MKC Engineering on behalf of the owner and applicant. We're just excited to have this 10th edition here, and we have a good problem. We're selling lots like that no tomorrow. So if you want a lot, you better go out and get one. So, but this will put on about 30 plus more lots, and so that'll be helpful. So yeah, like we said, there's just a few more phases left in this part of the development, and looking forward to putting a cap on it.
Very good. Questions? Anyone?
Thank you very much.
No? Thanks, Brian. Okay. I think we've covered all the bases on that request, and looking forward to moving forward. Any comments? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I, Gary Israel, would like to make a motion that we approve the final plan unit development for the Cornerstone 10th edition, generally located at north of 21st Street and east of 159th Street.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I, Brian Davidson, will second.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second to approve the final plan unit development. Cornerstone 10th edition, final plan unit development located north of 21st Street and east of 159th Street, Andover, Kansas. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes. Thank you very much. Number 9, member items.
None from me, Mr. Chairman.
I just wanted to let the other members know that the other night at the subdivision committee, we talked to the committee about the potential of migrating towards an electronic packet for the planning commission. We use a software for the city council agendas that allows us to just have the members go to the cloud for their agenda rather than have a paper packet delivered. In the planning commission and subdivision committees cases, we would probably still deliver some paper copies of plats and so forth if we felt that was necessary. But otherwise, you would just access this cloud-based software and pull your packet down. It's pretty intuitive, pretty easy to get around in once that packet is built and out there. There's a little work on the backside for us to get everything there, but we think it's a good move, saves some paper, saves some time in delivering, and it is readily updatable, so as things come online after the packet has been released, they can be updated right up to the time of the meeting.
And you're shooting, is there a date for this to be implemented?
We're hoping to get that to you in September. Right now, the problem is we've ordered the iPad Pros for all of you, so you have a little larger screen to look at the packets. And apparently, there's been a run on Apple products lately, and they're not available.
Okay. Any other notes, member? All right then, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I, Brian Davidson, will motion to adjourn.
I, Gary Israel, will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals meeting July 21st, 2020. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?